code word. We're going to let that run for a little bit as we continue on and talk about some of the changes. And of course, stadiums, we've got new tournament types, and we've got something called the Pick 12 Perfect Drafts that Spore went through today. So this is going to allow you to choose from 12 cards in the perfect and diamond rounds instead of the normal 6 for each round. And it's going to start up on Monday. That's when this refresh kicks in. I've already updated my Steam client because it asked me to. So I guess my Steam version is ready to go on Monday. I'm sure the desktop version, the fast spring version, you'll probably have to update that probably on Monday. Side note, other new Perfect Draft variations are on the way in the future. So they're always looking for ways to change those around. And as we talked about stadiums in tournaments and perfect drafts, starting with this PTCS, tournaments are now eligible to take place at different ballparks. Again, you'll see that in the type of draft that you're in. It'll show you the ballpark. There's a whole new wrinkle, the team building, and the default ballpark can still be found in tournaments that doesn't show a specific park. So when I showed you all these parks here, for example, this one here would be a default park because it doesn't have a ballpark, whereas this one gives you that specific park. So that is what we can expect in terms of the stadiums, and including the TWIP Friday Showdown will have specific ballparks tied to it. Also, if you missed it, Sporer said 350 new packable cards are going to be dropped into packs Monday at some point. Monday morning, we don't have an exact time. Boy, 350. I don't know if we've seen, other than startup, a larger drop of cards. We've had, I think, 60. We've had 80 in previous versions. 350. There will not be any new perfects, though, coming. It'll be iron, bronze, silver, gold, and diamond cards. And many of your favorite players of the past, I'm guessing probably a lot of dead ball to fill up some of those dead ball lacking era cards. And who knows what else? I'm guessing 1 or 2 Blue Jays we're going to see along the way. So check out the card shop on Monday to see which new cards will be in. And missions will also be released Monday. So like I said, and Paul said, take the day off if you can, because you're going to have a lot of things that you can do starting on Monday morning. Any comments about any of that, Charles? Oh, we got you on mute here. Let's unmute you. There we go. You pulled a lap there.
Oh, I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah. So any comments about the perfect draft pick 12, the stadiums, the massive card drop coming?
So I think we've had some card drops before, usually just to kind of get a bunch of new lower tier cards come out. I think this year we've had more cards come out Thursdays in the past, so I wasn't sure we were going to get one of them. But yeah, I think the important thing to see is going to be what the power level looks like compared with the current cards. And I think that's what's going to tell us how interesting they are.
Cool. All right. Well, first draw, I'm going to give you 10 more seconds. If you want to get into our first draw for 5 packs to a random user, all you have to do is use tops in a sentence or just put the word tops, and we will make that draw in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we have 20. Well, we'll give a little bit in case the lag kicks in a little bit. 5 more seconds here. All right, our first winner of 5 standard packs goes to
I like the way it does the, kind of getting everyone's name up on stream, getting excited.
I like that. That Canadian accent, the T's, right, Paul? The T's. It's like it almost stopped on me. Oh, no, it went to someone else. it's a little bit better than the Stream Elements, which just picks one right away. So Zen Lunatic 16, you are the winner of the packs. Congratulations. Zen, if you could send me a quick whisper on Twitch, and I will make sure those packs get your way. We will do another one of these towards the end of the stream, but wanted to reward, people that got here early and, put up with us chatting and chatting. So we'll do another code word a little bit later on. All right. Also mentioned today were the PTCS reward cards. Now I know, Charles, you probably didn't have a chance to look at these. You were busy at work.
This will be the first time I've seen them, I'm afraid.
Okay, so. And they're not in the game yet, so we're just going to do again a quick eye test. We know the past cards. The
quick eye test. Do the cards have eye? It's a real simple eye test.
Yeah, if they have an eye, Charles likes.
If they have eye, we're going to be interested. If they don't have eye, then they fail the eye test. Really simple. Really
easy settings and criteria. A lot of open tournaments for this one, so we don't have caps this time. We've got the LEs turned on.
So I have to say, because I've been critical in the past when this hasn't been done well, and this 2150 cap I think is a much better number than some of the past ones. That's a cap. What's the number going to be? Like 10 or 11, I think. So that's one where you are going to have to at least make some real choices. And, it is going to work like a cap. So I like that format a lot better than the caps in past PTCS go-rounds.
Right. And one dead ball to Rebirth Open. I think that's the only one really tied to an era. And then your perfect drafts are going to have 12 choices plus LEs will be turned on. And they're all going to be played at 1952 with a 1952 Forbes field. So here's one that has a specific field, but a different running.
So what does that field look like? We can pull that up in the game, right?
Yeah.
Because I think Spore was saying it's going to be the same version of Forbes field that's available, like if you want to run that park in your league.
Okay.
So let's take a look. I can pull this up. What do I want? I go to customize team design. This is my soon to become theme team. I think we're finally slowly getting there. But if we look at select ballpark, does anyone happen to know? We can just scroll through till we see Forbes field, but if someone happens to know, I don't want to only show eligible parks because this team is not eligible for that. Here we go, Forbes field. So it's a 1952 Forbes field. And the ballpark factors, so 1.027 lefties and 1.021 average righties, so a little bit higher average than normal, but a huge split. Home runs, 875 lefties, but 1132 righties. So lefty power hitters are really getting hurt by this park, but righty power hitters get a big boost. And then 939 doubles, but 1125 triples. So you're going to want to run right-handed power hitters. You're definitely not going to want to run left-handed power hitters. But you also can maybe even run a few singles hitters in this park, especially as lefties. And I guess that also means that you're probably going to want to run a lot of right-handed pitching, is what that sounds like.
Okay. Well, there's some Warbot tips for those of you that qualify for the weekly or the wild card. Silver floor, so you can't have any cards below silver. So those LEs that are 40 or 60, can't use those. You can use the 70 or higher cards. And,
for the silver floor, but for the opens, anything that qualifies is open. So if you want to run, I'm not sure Mathis is actually the right catcher to run in 1934, but if you want to run a card like Mathis, you're allowed to run him in 6 different formats out of the 8 because he runs in the Iron Open, but he runs in any of the higher level opens also.
So the price of Mathis may have just gone up on the card shop. What's he going for? Just do a quick check on Mathis because
we can check.
Iron,
Um,
bronze, silver, gold,
Mathis
diamond.
is currently, you can get him for about 30,000. And so here's the quick intelligence test for the community. Okay. Which is, if we've done it right, it should cost more than 30,000 to complete the mission. Right.
Right.
And it does. Okay, good. We're doing well as a community. Right. Well, because
Okay.
otherwise the point is you shouldn't complete the mission. I mean, you shouldn't buy the card. You just complete the mission. Right.
Yes.
If you could complete the mission for, actually, hold on. Maybe I'm wrong about this, because you get a diamond pack with Mathis also, don't you?
I don't
You get
know.
a
Yeah, you
diamond
do.
pack
Yeah.
with Mathis. And so that diamond pack is probably worth maybe 8 to 10K. I don't know what the current number is. So really, if you complete the mission, you get Mathis plus a pack that's worth 8K, right? And so how much does it cost to complete the mission? Well, it's any 6. Let's say I were to just buy them right now. I could buy these cards for about 32 or 33K. And if I were to, go for last 10, I could actually cut that down a little bit. So no, I'm wrong. Actually, you should not buy Mathis for 30,000. You should buy the cards to make Mathis for a little under 30,000 and get not only Mathis, but a diamond pack. If you want Mathis, you're better off doing it with the mission. And, maybe get, say, this Chris Davis as part of it, who still plays in a few tournament formats or something like that.
That being said, there are new cards coming out on Monday and next Thursday. So I wouldn't, you never know. With 350 cards coming out, there could be another Mathis type of card that you may want to save up for. I have no insider information. I'm just saying there are a lot of cards still to come. But currently, yes, Jeff Mathis is.
I think so. I think if the PTCS were open, were open tournaments in modern era or something like that, I think Mathis would probably play at least 5 formats, maybe 6. In 1934, I don't think he's going to play that many, because a lot of the value you get from Mathis is going to be the extra strikeouts. But at the same time, he also has a really good arm, and so, at least in the lower tiers, you might still be playing Mathis for his arm and his ability to walk.
Okay. Well, let's get on to the cards that are up for grabs in this tournament coming up in less than 2 weeks now. And yes, look at all the love for the top set in the chat. Like, people just love this top set. It's like tops everywhere. Everyone's just promoting the top set. So before we get to today's top set, let's do the quick eye test. 2 gold cards from 9th to 16th and from 17th to 32nd. So we've got Ali Reynolds and Juan Moncada, including
All right.
their tops real life card.
Real simple eye test. Do they have eye? Moncada does not have eye. So he definitely fails the eye test. Now, Ali Reynolds is a pitcher, so we'll actually have to look at him a little bit.
Good pick. I mean, for a gold, good BABIP, good home run suppression, really good stuff. Stamina is really good. Just the eye test itself, I think he comes in as a gold tournament only player based on the pitchers and goal. I mean, we got some really good gold pitchers.
So
he's right-handed.
All right. I think the key question for Ali Reynolds is something I didn't notice when you showed that list of tournament formats, which is there a low gold tournament now? If there's a low gold tournament, I think I'm really interested in that card. I think in full gold, I'm going to be somewhat less interested, because there are some high gold options that are probably going to be a little better still.
Let's take a quick look for tournaments.
Okay, there is a daily low gold. All right, so for a daily low gold, that's going to be a really strong card.
Okay, there you go. We're selling these cards already. People are going to be lining up to get that. So even if you finish in 31st place, you're going to get a useful card for a specific type of tournament. Moncada, Just so many good gold players out there already. This is obviously a high gold. I don't know who the meta is for gold right now for third base. Defense is, good. Balanced card, but splitty in terms of gap power.
Well, the split's okay because there's so many left-handed starters. But like I said, you asked for the quick eye test. The quick eye test is he doesn't have eye.
There you go. Moving on. Next two. This is for finishing 5th to 8th. You're going to get yourself center fielder Jim Edmonds. And for finishing 3rd or 4th, you get yourself Gaylord Perry. Low diamond and a high diamond. Eye test, Jim Edmonds. You're kind of looking at defense for Jim anyway, but quick eye test for Jim.
All right. I really want to argue with that Jim Edmonds card because this was a player that, got this reputation for being a great defensive outfielder because his last step and his ability to dive at the ball was incredible. But all the metrics said actually didn't have a lot of range. I like the card you found though. Is that a Topps card of Edmonds from?
That is. Yeah, I had to make sure I didn't use any competitor's card. These are all Topps real life cards that are beside each one. So yeah, that is the Jim swing. So that is for 5th to 8th place. I think the best 5th to 8th place card we've had is the Jimmy Fox by far.
Yeah.
Gaylord Perry, again, not splitty. Good home run suppression, really good pitcher BABIP. Stamina is, questionable, I guess, depending on the era. What do you think about Gaylord Perry? Is the stuff just a little too low? Kind of reminds me of Fergie Jenkins, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, Fergie's a fun card. If I show you this theme team, actually, my theme team just pulled one of these as an LE. Unfortunately, he doesn't fit the theme I had in mind. So we've gone ahead and offloaded him in the hopes that we can find someone that does fit the theme.
All right. So congratulations on getting the Fergie and then selling him off. So
yeah, it was a nice pull at least. He fits one of your themes, right?
Yes. He can definitely play on the Johnny Cash luggage tags because he played in Chicago.
So Perry, let's see. Yeah, does reasonably well on the eye test. You have that nice pitcher BABIP. So I guess he's going to be full diamond, right?
Yes.
So let's see, because there have been a bunch of just recently released diamond cards that are going to be in the meta. So for example, there was just that Dennis Martinez limited edition that came out where, if we just, let's say we put him up against Dennis Martinez here. If you leave Perry up, how do you want to do it? I can pop up the Dennis Martinez here.
Okay. I'll put Dennis up first.
Sure. So here's what Dennis Martinez looks like. I don't have him on this team. I guess does he also fit your theme, or maybe that's an expensive card? It looks like.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't fit.
Okay, so that's what the Dennis Martinez looks like. So you're getting 98 on his pitcher BABIP, 101 control, 94 homer prevention. And the other nice thing with this card is in a lot of ways he has reverse splits. So you're willing to let him face lefties, and that's not such a big deal for a right-handed pitcher. And then 76 stuff is kind of the weakest part of the card. So how does that compare with Perry?
Perry, I believe, has higher stuff, higher home run suppression, lower control, lower pitcher BABIP. So
let me see. Okay, Suarez got it. Thank you. So yeah, you get an extra 10 stuff, 6 homer suppression. So this is going to be a little bit weaker, but then also the shape's not quite as good in terms of the splits because he doesn't. It's not bad in terms of the splits, but Dennis has even nicer splits in terms of being able to face lefties. So I think I'd still much rather have Dennis Martinez. And you get more stamina from Martinez as well, right? Does that say 86 stamina? and Martinez, you're getting 95. Okay, so he's definitely not going to be your top starter. But he's probably going to be somewhere in that next tier with like Newcomb, Grayson Rodriguez, Rick Sutcliffe, Derek Lowe, the limited edition Mike Scott's maybe still up there.
Right.
I guess the other thing to think about is a lot of the diamond tournaments that you're thinking about playing a card like this in have been in earlier eras. So in the earlier eras, the difference in stamina won't be so important. But in those earlier eras, the control and BABIP are going to be a little bit more important than the home run prevention.
And here are the daily diamonds.
They moved the diamond to modern era in '99. Okay, then never mind. Then that doesn't matter so much. So then you do care about. So maybe even for '99. Oh, but then that's an OOTP era '99. So then Perry's not eligible, and neither is Dennis Martinez. Okay, but so modern era, then you don't need to worry about kind of the dead ball shape as much. But in the modern era, probably the stamina is worth a little bit more.
And of course, got the live diamond as well, which doesn't apply here. So again, yeah, a couple changes to the diamond tournaments: best of 7, best of 5, OOTP era, one with a cap, 24-25 as a cap. Okay. And the
24-25 is a pretty big cap for that, isn't it? Yeah.
Diamond only. Yeah. All right.
Let's see.
Now the 2 big cards. These are cards you probably haven't seen yet, Charles. This is what the winner and the runner-up will get on the PTCS
All
Series
right.
4. This is what we're getting. Your Boston Red Sox, Dustin Pedroia. And Sporer mentioned, he said, I know we've had a lot of Red Sox as cards here in these PTCS, but that's just the way it goes right now. And unfortunately, again, for those that love the Red Sox and a little bit more of a struggle to try and get some of these cards, like the Boggs, like the Pedroia, and then the 100 Honus Wagner. So Honus is in the game as a perfect, and yeah, Spore. What was the main reason? I caught a little bit of it. You kind of mentioned that the creation. Oh, the diehard Mets fans pick tournament cards. Okay, yeah.
I see how it worked. Okay.
So Sporhead did not pick the names, the players on the cards. The cards were picked, and then Spore created, I guess, the cards for those players. So, yes, the diehard Mets fans. All right, Honus Wagner.
Sure. You want to go first on these? What do you think? I'll pull up a couple to compare them against.
Second base, again, you're competing with Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson, I think, still is the meta second baseman that most teams are using. I can't remember Robinson's stats. If you have his stats up there.
Here, I'll pull Jackie up for you. So there are 2 options you might compare him against at second. Here's Jackie.
Okay. So there's Jackie, and the numbers that you see there, defense. And then here,
so Jackie's 97 range, and Pedroia was 99.
Okay.
So you're getting a little bit more glove from Pedroia, but at the league level, those couple points can actually be quite a lot. If everybody's running Jackie and a few people are running Pedroia, then that can actually turn out to be a big difference, even if it's only a few points in league play.
Yeah, and new players you got to understand that 2 or 3 range at the higher league levels does make a huge difference because your player, unless it's changed, your player at second base is kind of compared to all the second basemen on the teams in that league. So if you have a guy at 95, but 25 teams have a guy at 99, your second baseman doesn't perform as well. If I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you kind of want the higher range guys, especially at shortstop, center field, because 1, 2, 3 points different of range, if there are more of those players in your league, is going to impact the defense for that player.
Yeah, I think that's right. So, I think
Pedroia will probably be better. Base running stuff is a real downside, according to Izadafo.
well, that's
Again, if
about
you've
right. I
got
think you're going to get a little more glove, and the bat's a little bit better, but you're getting a lot of base running value from Jackie. And also, yeah, I guess that's right. And the other thing is Pedroia only plays second, whereas Jackie plays second, third. You probably don't want him playing left, but he can do that. So Jackie's a lot more flexible when you're building a roster, which means he probably is going to stick around longer than Pedroia. You don't want to run Pedroia as a backup. You would only want to run him as a starter, but Jackie's a card you can have on your roster as a backup, I think.
which again, that flexibility at position is a huge, huge advantage.
And the other thing is that there's also the limited edition Sandberg, who plays second and third. Now, there you're only getting 86 range at second. So I like Sandberg better as a third baseman, ideally. But you're also getting a lot of base running value out of Sandberg. So that's the other card to think about if you're just looking for a bat. I think Pedroia probably gets caught in between. So I think if I had a Pedroia, I don't think I'd end up playing him. But I think there should be some builds where he works.
Okay. And of course, Honus Wagner. Now, Honus, again, interesting card. So many components to this Honus Wagner card in terms of the batting and then the fielding and the speed. 4-position eligible. Now, you're not probably going to play him in left field, but you can train him up to 109 at third base, 87 at first, and he's naturally 105 at second base. So more likely you're going to use him shortstop, third base, but I'm sure some will use him at first. A lot of blue, except for the power. So
you probably want to put that one back up. I think you're still showing Sandberg.
Oh, okay, yeah. He is no Sandberg. He is a Honus. So again, that natural ability at shortstop. Where, first of all, let's start easy. If you had this card, what would your first goal be? To train him at third, or are you going to stick him right in at shortstop?
That's a good question. I think he's a DH.
Oh.
And I think maybe he's a DH. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing to figure out how to use him. But my first instinct is DH.
Okay. So DH, Honus Wagner, with some flexibility to fill in some other spots.
Yeah, to be able to back up a bunch of things, back up a bunch of positions, but DH. I still think I'd rather run Bancroft at short. I still think I'd rather run A-Rod at third, certainly at least one way. And the glove's not really good enough to put him in left. And you've got some really big bats at first, probably. Yeah. So maybe he's a DH. That feels like a little bit of a waste, but I think if I added him, that would be my first instinct, because the glove isn't quite good enough compared with what else you have. You definitely want the bat in the lineup, and it's really valuable to have a DH that can play all these positions, and make off days work. I think that's the first thing I'd try.
All right. Well, those of you coming in back from the break, we're just going through the PTCS first place, second place cards. You probably missed most of the Honus Wagner analysis, but but Charles is thinking that Honus Wagner he would probably use as a DH card simply because of other options you have at those other positions. He does like the bat, of course, does like the flexibility that you can fit him into other roles, but and probably going to train him at third base, stick him at third base a little bit to get some of that training.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a backup third baseman. The other thing I noticed about the card, which just is worth thinking about in the long term, is it's not a peak card. So this is the second of these PTCS champion cards we've had. which no matter how much you like the card, is not going to be an end game card because we still expect there'll be a peak version of the card that comes out later, and you can't play two of the same player, even if both of the cards are things that you would want on your roster.
Right. And the fun thing too, I don't know. I know they said LEs are going to be in drafts. I don't know if these cards are going to be in drafts, if they include these, or if it's specifically the ones that say limited edition. But it would be nice to kind of try these out in some of these perfect draft environments. Yeah, it's tough to put him as a DH, but like you said, you put A-Rod at third. Second, you would have Jackie, or no, he can't even play second.
Well, he doesn't play second. I think short, I think I'd still rather run Bancroft because that glove is just so incredibly good. The tougher decision is, as much as that bat's good, there will be a point not too long from now in the cycle where that bat is good for a shortstop, but not good for a DH anymore. And so then the question is, am I willing to start sacrificing some defense in order to get a better bat in the lineup? So maybe he eventually will be a shortstop. But at least if I had him right now, because I can still put his bat in at DH and be okay, I think I put him in at DH and I play even better defense.
Okay. And again, for most people, there's only 10 of these that are going to be in the game. There's only going to be 10 Dustin Pedroias in the game. So those that do get them, there's not a ton of us that have the conflict of what we're going to do with them. But he is, in my opinion, definitely a worthwhile prize. Pedroia, very playable card. And congratulations to those that are going to compete for these cards. Remember, all 10 tournaments for the PTCS, the winners will get the Honus card. Second place will get the Pedroia card. And then everything up to 32nd place will have a prize as well. Okay, so that is what we're going to get for the PTCS. All right, we are going to do our trivia in about 10, 15 minutes time. So trivia is still coming. We had one winner so far in a random giveaway. That was Zen Lunatic. We will have some more giveaways to come. Okay, speaking of tops, again, you haven't had a chance to really look at these, and you probably haven't run them in any kind of modeling or anything like that.
Yeah, I can take a quick look. Which should we take a look at?
So Joe Mauer, we're just going to fly over the silver. So, because again, we've kind of been on for quite a bit here. Joe Mauer, catcher, first base eligibility, silver card, 75. Really, really decent against the right-handed pitchers. You probably don't want him against the lefties. But again, is it something you want to sacrifice a roster spot to have one-sided player? 84 catcher ability, good catcher arm, not going to run for you. And then the other silver on stream today was the Clayton Kershaw. Look how young he looks. Look at his Topps rookie card. He looks like he's 14 there. So Clayton Kershaw.
It's like a pretty good card.
Yeah. So again, silver, high silver, 81 pitcher BABIP, 103 home run suppression. Not going to give up a lot of home runs. Stamina, little bit lower than what people might want for a starter. So those are the two silvers. So any comment about?
Looks excellent. I mean, it's a little bit splitty in terms of the control, but that looks like it's going to be really strong. I'm guessing that'll be quite possibly just the new top. That might even just be the new top starter in silver here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't play silver, so I have no comparison for this card. I don't know what the top pitchers are right now, but yeah, just looking at that blue, I mean, the control, that might worry me a little bit. 35, control against the righties, but still, I think is going to hold up very well. And as you said, probably a top 5 starter.
Yeah, I think he might be the top one. I think you're definitely going to want to play him.
Slightly above Roberts is where Isadafo. Thanks, Isadafo, for giving the input.
That's where I've got him too.
Slightly above Roberts. So Roberts was number 1?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so excellent card there. Spore, nice Clayton Kershaw. Maybe Ezra doesn't agree too much with the Dodger Kershaw, but hey, we got a Dodger card that's going to play well in silver for those new silver tournaments coming out. Gold. We had a couple gold that were shown. Bob Feller. And props again to the art department at OOTP, because usually when we see these tops cards, we see current players with the live shot. Here's Bob Feller. Very clear picture of Bob Feller with Cleveland. So we got that one, and we've got the 89 Verlander, which you can have on your theme team now. And his draft 2005 first year draft pick tops card doesn't look as young as Clayton Kershaw.
No, but the card looks excellent. Yeah, that Verlander looks to me like it's probably now the top arm in gold, which is interesting to get another righty in there.
So not only just the top righty, but the top card.
I think so. And so I think that's enough that there's now another righty that can be in the meta. And Feller probably could be also. He's at least going to be, somewhere around fifth, it looks like, out of starters. So, yeah, I think both of those are going to be pretty solid.
And, of course, we have Espinino, who is one of the top right-handed pitchers as well. So now we're going to see maybe those gold tournaments shift a little bit, because it's not just all strong left-handed pitchers now. We're getting some righties in the game.
Yeah, and the more righties you get, the more some of the bats that we were looking at before that, we sort of said didn't fit at the time, maybe we'll actually start to play, even though more cards have come out in between, just because there are some righties to go ahead and hit.
So very good. I mean, three strong pitchers for their categories: Clayton Kershaw, Bob Feller, and Justin Verlander, that are going to make impacts on a lot of teams in gold and in silver. And as Izidolfo said, even as Kershaw playing in low diamond. So that's how good this.
Yeah, Verlander maybe could, because the gap between low diamond and gold isn't that big.
All right.
I haven't run low diamond yet. I've got them sort of fringy startable. Yeah.
Okay. George Foster, and I had to put a San Francisco Giants because he played for the Giants as well, not just the Reds. So there's
you had to go with the Giants version.
Yeah, with the Giants version. I mean, Ezra, right? Ezra is a big Giants fan, and sometimes we don't give the Giants enough love. We just had a Dodger, so it's time to look at, a Giant here. George Foster, left field. There's kind of the look at him. High diamond, which again, a lot of competition for the premier bats. I'm not sure about the corner outfielders, though, if there's a lot of high diamond. I know there's a lot of first basemen. I don't know where.
Yeah, the DHs are still going to be, pretty big there.
Yeah. Because again, you got probably Giambi, or you've got Vlad, or you've got Lou at DH. So where does he fit in terms of your modeling in the outfield?
Let's see. So I guess really he's probably a left fielder rather than a center fielder, because the center field defense. Yeah, I think so. I think I've got James Wood still is far ahead of him in left, because just that bat is going to be so good. And I think in center, it looks like there's a new George Springer maybe that I, where the bat's so good, you could even stick him in center if you had to. Otherwise, Springer probably is ahead of him. So he's, maybe in the fringes of the meta, but I don't think he's someone I'd rush out and get. Maybe there's an era tournament or a park where that power would play up a little bit, and maybe that would make him a little more interesting.
All right. So there's the Foster. Here's the Springer that Charles mentioned there. So you have the Springer just slightly ahead.
Yeah, although I remember Foster definitely just for there was one huge home run season in there, right?
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with this player. He wasn't on the Blue Jays or the Expos. But I'll take your word.
I thought he was one of the few guys that hit 50 in a season, before the, let's just say the very live ball era in the late 90s.
Oh, 52 and 77. Ooh. 52 and 77. 40 the year after that. So yeah, he could hit the ball. He could mash the ball. So there is your George Foster and your George Springer cards that were released. They are in packs today. And then we had not one, not two, but three perfect cards, packable perfect cards today.
All right.
First off, another Christian Yelich. And I was kind of caught off guard because one of the PT Plus rewards was a Christian Yelich Topps card,
And
I
it
believe.
was a Topps Yelich also, right?
Yes. And so we have another Yelich, and I don't know if it's a peak card or not a peak card, but I'm assuming because it's
It
100.
should say on the card, right? Does it say peak or a year?
Well, not on the Topps. I don't think. Maybe in the card shop it does, but not on the card that I see there. So
okay,
Christian
I can look in
Yelich.
the card shop.
Again, we've got multi-purpose outfielder, stronger against the righties.
Well, you can give it the old eye test. That's a problem because there's not a lot of eye.
He doesn't blind you, but he doesn't make you squint too hard.
Okay, yeah, it says 2018, not peak. So there still is room for another Yelich potentially.
Scottish is saying it says peak in the shop, though.
Oh, I'm looking at, okay, that's funny. I've got the shop. Okay, it does, wait a sec. Now I'm really confused.
Is it
because
Alpha
the
says they both?
94 overall also says peak in the shop.
Okay, well, I'm assuming we're not going to get any more peak Yeliches. We've hit the
Okay,
double
but
peak.
there is a difference. There is a difference. So here, I've got them up if you want to take a look. So the 100 Yelich says peak, capital P, lowercase EAK. But the 94 Yelich is peak in all caps.
Oh. Well, I
I'm not
own
sure
the
what
40.
difference is.
Yeah, I guess that I'm not going to touch that one. What do you think about the 100 though? Where does it compare?
Yeah. Oh, the caps are say on the cards. They're just both peak.
Oh, okay. So definitely not going to play center field at the higher levels because much better center fielders out there in terms of range. Left field, right field.
I think he just fails the eye test. He doesn't have enough eye.
Doesn't have enough eye. So even when we compare him to, George Springer, who had more eye than Yelich as a 98, George Foster, a little bit lower.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the problem is that Yelich is a perfect, and so you have to compare him with the other perfects you're getting instead.
Yeah. True enough. Okay.
So compare him against a card like Torriente, Winfield, Lynn, Mantle. Those are the kinds of cards that you're ideally going to be running in the outfield, unless you're able to get a Griffey or Yaz or something like that.
Yeah. Fair point. Okay. Probably the most popular card of today's set, probably the one that made people smile the most was this next card here. Fan favorite, Chicago Cub, Ernie Banks. We have a perfect Ernie Banks in the Topps 4 series. Defense. He can run bases. Can't steal. Not a lot of speed, but he can run bases. And first base or shortstop, again, you're running up against that shortstop, A-Rod, Bancroft.
You've got even less range, I think, than some of those. So
97 range, but it is a
got
pack.
to retire the eye test joke. So, the thing is, we will retire the eye test joke as soon as getting on base stops being the most important thing for a hitter. But the problem is that getting on base is the most important thing for a hitter. And eye is the cheapest way to get on base. So,
yeah. So Chicago Cubs, there have been a lot of there's a lot of Chicago Cubs fans out there. Cubs fans, Steve, of course, loves the Cubs. The card here that I have of Ernie Banks, the short step card with the Cub logo that Sporer pointed out. I think if I had my choice of a Cubs jersey, I like the bear, just like the Boston Bruins have that old uniform with a bear, big bear mustard
You
jersey.
don't like the you don't like the bee with a spike or something?
I like the bear. I'd love one of those blue jerseys with the bear logo on it. But yeah, no, it's cool looking at some of these old cards. So Ernie Banks again, just not quite there, but as a packable card, those that can't get the Bancroft tournament, those that can't get the A-Rod to finish the mission, if you pull this in a pack, likely for many people, he's going to be your best shortstop option.
Yeah, I think
And
if you're not looking at Bancroft or A-Rod or something like that, then the card he's competing with is going to be Robin Yount. And here you've got a little bit more, you've got a little bit better glove than Yount, I think. I can pull it up and check, but I think that's a little bit better glove. Let's see. So Yount 94 range and Banks, yeah, and Banks is up to 97. So you're getting a little bit better glove than Yount. And the first base eligibility, you're probably not going to use. There are just a ton of huge bats at first base. So it's really still sort of a one position player. But if you don't have the ones we were talking about, then yeah, I think you would play him in front of Yount or something like that.
and again, theme teams, players that love the Cubs, players that love Ernie Banks. Like this is one of those cards that he may not be the best card for that position, but just the name itself is going to bring a lot of joy to a lot of people playing this card if they pull him in a pack. Again, great all-time player. Ernie Banks is in the game, 100 perfect card, and one more to go. I don't know if you know who the third one is. Third perfect.
No, I've looked yet. I'm seeing
Well,
Schmidt in the chat. But
we had Eddie Matthews, we had A-Rod, we had Gunnar Henderson early, Ellie De La Cruz. Now we've got one of the best, Mike Schmidt. We all know the greatness of Mike Schmidt, although kind of weird seeing him in his one of his earlier playing cards there without the mustache, but that was Mike back then. Yeah, I mean, we've got, like I said, we've got even the new PTCS card coming out. So I created a slide with probably what are probably the three best third base options if you had all the cards. Now, obviously, not everyone does, but if you had all the cards in terms of the premier card you're playing at third base, we got Mike Schmidt in the top left. We got Honus that can be trained up to third base. And then we've got A-Rod on the right-hand side. Slight differences, of course. Some better in some areas. But when we look at all three of those, if I'm a student of the game and I've watched the Warbot streams, I'm looking at this going, okay, let's see here. I'm looking at range. Mike Schmidt is 91. 99 if I train up Honus. 97 if I have A-Rod. Bat-wise, again, advantage goes to Honus. I think if I had all three and if I was in perfect league, I think Honus, but you said maybe put him at DH and A-Rod or Schmidt. It's a fine line, I think. I don't think you can clearly say one of these is clearly the best third baseman. And maybe I'm missing another third baseman. These were just the three that came to mind. Where do you put Mike Schmidt?
You might run Matthews if you're platooning something. I guess that would be the other one to think about. Or you might be running Sandberg if you're trying to run him as a second and third base backup.
But again, like Honus doesn't have power, and power plays well in the game, but it all depends on the ballpark too, right? Like if you have a home run suppressed ballpark, well, then Honus would be probably a better choice for third baseman. You don't need the power. Ballpark is going to be, I think, a huge factor in terms of which of these three you're going to want to play at third.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, that's tough. So even without Honus, I'm trying to figure out how to play Schmidt. I'm not quite sure I do. It's a good question.
I mean, if you don't have Honus, and it's between Schmidt and A-Rod, I think. You don't have A-Rod.
Yeah, so Schmidt's probably the better glove because in most of these middle infield positions, range is the thing that matters the most. But at third base, you're going to care about the arm a lot. So that 106 arm, Schmidt should give you the best glove at third, I would think.
Yes, and that, like you said, at the perfect level, 2 or 3, 4 difference in range makes a big difference. Is that the same with arm? When you get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 points different in arm, is that going to make a big difference?
It depends on who everyone's running, because the idea is what your league is doing is it's looking at all of the cards in the league, and then it's trying to scale it so that the gap between the best and the worst sort of matches with the gap between the best and the worst players in a league should be. So if you're doing this in the lower levels of the league, when you're kind of first getting into the game, there's often a really big gap. You might have some players that have, 100 range and some players that have 60 range. And so 1 or 2 points of range isn't worth so much. But when you're comparing just the best cards against the best cards, maybe the worst range at shortstop in the league is now 95 and the best range is 101. And those 6 points are the entire difference. And then 2 points is a lot, Right. So that's why it starts to change.
So it's options. It's a packable card where the other 2 are not packable cards. It's a fun name in baseball history, of course. Mike Schmidt, very well named player.
Yeah.
The fact that we're going back and forth and thinking quite a bit about it just kind of shows how close these cards are, right?
Yeah. So I think the answer is I don't find room for Schmidt on the roster unless I'm running a park that really helps him. Now, on the other hand,
first?
I was going to say, on the other hand, a park that really does help him is that Forbes Field park that we were just looking at for the PTCS. Do you play him at first? So you could play him at first if it's a 2-position backup, because the problem is, there isn't a big right-handed first baseman right now. So maybe you play him at first. I'm just assuming that another bat will come in, but maybe not. Because there's a lot of eye in that bat.
Yes.
Yeah, there's enough eye in that bat. Maybe you do play him at first.
It's the best eye.
Is he actually good enough to push Lou out one way, where you're willing to use a roster spot and push Gehrig out versus lefties? I could run him in that park and see. That's a good question. Yeah, actually, I think that's right. I think in most parks, he's good enough versus lefties that you're willing to push Gehrig out if you have to get his bat in the lineup. So maybe that's the answer, or DH Gehrig or something like that.
You put Gehrig at DH.
Question, go ahead. What?
You put Gehrig at DH.
Yeah, I guess of the two, who's the better defensively? I'm assuming it's going to be Schmidt, because Schmidt should be much better defensively at first as well, I would think.
Choices. Paul, giving us a lot of choices here in cards.
It's an interesting card. I don't think you're going to end up running it unless you're in the right situation, because right now, if you think about who the top lefties are that you're going to face, most of the kind of standard pitchers that people are going to have on their roster outside of the really high end of league play are going to be righties. And so you're doing a lot to kind of carry a bat that's really mainly helping you versus lefties. But on the other hand, there are situations where that's worth it. You know, if you're playing in perfect league where there are some teams that do have, you know, Koufax plus Randy, and then, you know, add Tudor, Sabathia, they're kind of running all lefties at the top. You know, then the card makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
But I think as a platoon bat, it's probably pretty expensive, because if you're thinking about, you know, this card or A-Rod, I would imagine A-Rod's going to be a lot cheaper, whether you get him by finishing the mission or just buying him directly.
Now, what's the case for A-Rod being stronger than Schmidt? Is it because the two positions he plays is more valuable, shortstop and third base, whereas Schmidt is up against a much tougher regimen of first baseman that he has to compete with? Like, what makes the A-Rod a better choice at third base?
Let's see. So if we put them up again, I mean, they're close. So Schmidt should be a little better defensively. But I'm expecting you're going to get a little bit more out of A-Rod's, not just bat, but also like the little difference in base running and things like that. But I think just the extra BABIP that you get from A-Rod in league play probably is enough. In tournament play, it might work a little bit differently.
Okay. So for you, the BABIP in A-Rod gives him the edge.
It's probably enough of a difference. Yeah, they're definitely close. You know, having grown up in Philadelphia, you know, I'd love to run Schmidt, and you know, I want any excuse to not run A-Rod.
Yeah.
So I may go try to run Schmidt, but I probably shouldn't.
To me, again, is what ballpark am I running? If I'm running a home run suppressed ballpark, I'm probably going to run Schmidt. And if I'm running a BABIP suppressed ballpark, I'm running A-Rod, or the other way around. I think
it's the other way around. Yeah, because what A-Rod's just getting you more hits.
Right. So it definitely depends on the ballpark. I think to the choice I would have for third baseman here. Do I want the home runs in my ballpark, or do I want the BABIP in my ballpark?
Yeah. So I think I'm still running A-Rod. I think, you know, well, I would love an excuse to run Schmidt. Probably what I will do is run Schmidt, because I'm not, you know, it's more fun to not run A-Rod.
Yeah. But again, we're splitting hairs. We're the fact that we're having this discussion and going back and forth just kind of shows how close, as you said, these cards really are. And thanks, Dr. D, for the raid. Welcome all in Dynastic Raiders. We are here on the HAWC Report running a little later today than normal, and just kind of finishing off going through today's Topps card. It's been a top set release. We showed some real Topps cards for some of these players. We had our trivia contest already, even did one of our giveaways, and are currently involved in the bounty tournament. And Charles, maybe we need to look how we're doing in that bounty tournament before we continue.
I'm a little bit afraid to look. I guess we have to, right?
Well, I would like to say that my Jim Unknown Blue Jays are not unknown anymore. They won the first series 3-1. They swept the second series 3-0. And so we're going up against one of our nemesis rivals here, the New York Fanatics. And your team, which was the baseball? No, which was your team?
We put our theme team in.
Where are we here?
Where are we?
Maybe you entered the wrong tournament.
Did I enter the wrong tournament?
Oh no, here we are. You got swept in the first round, Charles.
I got swept in the first round. All right. Well,
yeah. So
we clearly got beat by the better team. So
yeah, and I think I may be on my way out right now, but congratulations to Monterey Don Evie's Baseball that takes one of the bounties. So 5 packs will come to you, Monterey Don, and Unless you notify me otherwise, I'll send it to the account that's on this team right here. And Fanatics has a chance to take us out now.
Did it say didn't even have an average leader? What is that? Did I actually not have enough hits from anybody in my team to qualify? Is that what happened?
Well, I don't want to, I don't want to make you feel too bad, but you lost 8-3, 11-5. But you did squeak out a really close game 3 where you scored 3 runs on 5 hits. So at least you gave them a run in that third game.
But we actually didn't even qualify. How many hits do you need to qualify? I would have thought we'd at least have somebody qualify for average.
Well, let's take a look at your
that is kind of embarrassing, right? If you don't even qualify for nobody on your team qualifies for the batting title. You had a rough season when that happens.
I see a lot of zeros in your batting averages here, Charles. A lot of zeros. Although Bernie
Randy
Williams
Wolf put up an ERA of 30.86, so that's I've seen better.
And look, the tops card came through. Bernie Williams came through with a 375 average.
Just had to rub it in.
Johnny Mize hit 154 and Bernie Williams hit 375 as a Yankee. Lou, as a Yankee, 300. Lou, you did your job. Lou, we're not going to fault you for your tournament that you had. Your pitching.
Only people on my team that came through were the Yankees.
Yeah, because Randy Wolf had a spectacular 30.86 ERA.
Well, if you take one of those digits off, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, if we take off the 6, 3.08, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Billy, 12.27 ERA. Yeah, and poor Allen didn't get a chance to pitch.
But Nestor Cortez, my other embedded Yankee, he was also good.
Yes. So we now know in the future more Yankees for your bounty team.
Well, I know what the theme is next week. The theme next week has to just be you're not allowed to draft Yankees.
That might be tough. Or maybe you can only draft Yankees. Bobby Matthews for my team went 2-1 so far. Diaz 1-0. Tomlin 1-0. Yeah. So Fanatic, good luck. You are facing off against me here in the semifinals. Let's take a look at the tournament tree. Our path, we beat the Wayfinders. We beat the Washington Park Rangers. Fanatics beat EV's baseball and also beat the Moose in 5 games. So we got the Heritage, the Dachshunds, the Fanatics, and the Jim Unknown Blue Jays still alive in the tournament.
So what happens if we win this?
If we win?
Yeah.
You get a 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card. or a Pokemon card of your choice. There you go. Yes, we were even talking Pokemon cards earlier in the stream. For those of you that missed it, we were going through some of the most valuable sports and non-sports cards. And this is a good debate, really good debate with A-Rod, Schmidt, and Honus Wagner. For me, it comes down to the ballpark I'm playing in. And
no, I think you got it figured out that actually the best third baseman in the current Met is Pikachu.
Oh, wait. He's an electric. Isn't he electric third baseman? Or is he a water
There
third
you
baseman?
go.
Yeah, he's electric. Just wait till he evolves into Raichu. Woo!
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to mix your electric third baseman, your water third baseman.
Yeah, probably not. He's probably not good in a rain delay. You probably got to get him off the field real quick. Okay, so I know you didn't get a chance to take a really good look at the cards. Other than the cards I showed today, there were no other new cards. But Monday, there are 350 new cards coming out. So if you didn't get your fix of cards today, 350 packables on Monday. There's got to be a Blue Jay. Come on, Sport. Can you give me one Blue Jay name that's
At
in there?
least I'm sure there's at least one Blue Jay. 350
Give me some
cards.
hope.
There's got to be at least one Blue Jay, right?
Dave Steeb version 2, peak Dave Steeb. No, I think the mission card was already the peak Dave Steeb. So he was a 91. I guess I can't expect too much more Dave Steeb. Although we got 3 Mark Teixeiras, and only 1 Dave Steeb. How fair a world is that, Charles? When there's only 1 Dave Steeb in the game. Two Christian Yelich Topps cards and only 1 Dave Steeb. It's just not a fair world.
Nope.
I'm giving you a hard time, Sport.
You could get another peak Steve. You never know.
We could. So my card of the set is the Ernie Banks card. I love the player. I love the time period in the 50s. Seems like he had a nice personality. I like the Cubs logo. Just for that fact, not necessarily playability, although it's a really good against the lefties. That is my card of the set. And before you pick your card of the set,
okay,
we got 5 more packs that we're going to give away. All you have to do is use a sentence with Banks somewhere in your sentence, and you will be entered into this 5-pack giveaway. So we'll keep that up running for a while. As long as Banks is in your post in the chat, you are entered into this contest here. So we'll come back to that in just a little bit. What do you think, Charles? What card intrigues you the most?
I don't know. Well, see, now that I've got a theme team going, I'm thinking maybe I should go with that Verlander because as of this weekend, I'm allowed to have him. Right?
There you go. Yeah. He is fair game. He escaped from New York.
He did escape New York. So, yeah, I think that Verlander maybe.
Okay. And a lot of people in chat are saying that Banks is their favorite card of the set, which, again, is really understandable. We've got a lot of Ernie Banks fans out there. Well, you know what we always do to kind of end off? We kind of open up a few packs,
Sure.
See if we can flex our muscles a little bit on who got the best card. And so I'm going to put a prediction up here. Just give me a second here. So who will get the highest rated card in the 10 standard packs that we open up? Will it be Warbot? Let me just let me spell it correctly. And we'll give you a few minutes to answer.
Before you let them predict, though, there's important information they need to know to get their prediction right.
What's that?
Which is which one of us is the home team this week?
I'm the home team.
You're the home team?
You get to open first. So
all right. In that case, I'm definitely picking you. Or is that bad? Like, is that like, am I not allowed to bet against?
Not at all. You picked Bernie Williams, so it's okay to pick, your rival. That's fine. So the poll question, who will pull the highest rated card? If we tie, if we both happen to pull an 89 as our highest card in the 10 packs, then we go to extra innings and we will open 1 pack.
All right. That's fair.
See if we have a highest card. So that's how it's going to go. Bet your hound biscuits now. In fact, we're only going to go, we'll go 10 packs like we usually do. So we'll get you logged in there. Again, sure. The giveaway is underway. If you know, you know. That's all I'll say. If you know, you know. In terms of getting entered into the giveaway. Oh, Banks for the memories? No problem. No problem right now. Banks on a win. Yeah, I am banksing on a win right now. Banks isn't eligible for your theme team. Okay. I'd buy myself an Ernie, but it would break my banks. I love these new giveaways that we have here. Okay. Charles, are you logged in? Are you ready to go?
Logged in. Right, we'll do it on the new theme team. which is getting close, by the way. So if anyone, and I can replace my Verlander now. I had the live
And
one.
as always, thank everyone for supporting the channel. Big show on Monday as we got a lot to talk about with new formats, new cards. Whew, Monday's going to be a busy day, and it is a great day for baseball. Wherever you are, enjoy OOTP, enjoy real life baseball. And as always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, take what you need, give what you can. And thank you once again to Sporer for the broadcast this morning. He is back on with the replay tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you did not get your drops from OOTP Developments, you can get those tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern with the replay of the show. I will take a look if there's anyone to raid into. If not, have a wonderful rest of your day. Charles, any closing comments?
Just thanks for delaying it so I could come on. It's always a lot of fun to come stream with you. So
yeah, no, it's fun. And sometimes we take things seriously. Sometimes, most of the time,
a little bit.
I don't.
We can and next week I guess we'll figure out what the schedule is, but it may be that you'll have to get you a surprise guest. We'll see.
Yes, there may be a surprise guest on the next Thursday's HAWC Report. We will be on at the regular time though next Thursday. Thanks again to Spore, AZ Axel for filling in that time today. Dr. D for coming on and filling in some time. Thanks to Dr. D again for Raid coming over. Charles, as always, it's been a pleasure, and enjoy the rest of your
Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right, to everyone else, I will look for someone to raid into. In the meantime, again, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day. We'll see you next episode.
Yeah.
A very good friend of mine told me something the other day. I'd like to pass it on to you. I believe what he said to be true. He said we're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day, and the sun is shining in this rainy city, and the sun is shining. Oh, well, isn't it a pity? And every year has its share of tears, but every now and then it's gonna rain. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day.